It does. Okay, cool. Oh, it's nice how it shows up on my side too. Okay, that's perfect. All right. So we're going live on Instagram. Hey
Hello.
y'all, hey. Happy
Hello.
Wednesday.
We are live, my people.
Yes. Okay. So listen, we've been having some really good conversations and we have missed our ladies, Stephanie and Talona, as being a part of the conversation. So we're super excited to have these ladies here today. So if you are new, welcome. Drop us a line in the chat. Let us know you're here. We want to chat with you. We want to know your questions. We want to know what's coming up for you this Wealthy and Worthy Wednesday. And today, our topic is focused on designing your week for ease.
Yes.
All right. So last week we talked about boundaries and how to gracefully say no.
And I missed that one. That had to have been a good one.
It was a good discussion. It was a good discussion. It
Yeah.
kind of led to like the hard self honesty that has to happen in order to like really grow. So it was like I was like, oh, we might be stepping on some toes, but it was all good. And I think we had a few people comment even like you're stepping on my toes with this one. So yeah, so that was great. We had quite a few people actually watch it back on the replay as well. So if you're watching it back on the replay, drop us a note, say hey, let us know where you're tuning in from. We would love to converse with you all and make sure that we're following and connecting with you via our brands. All right. So today for Wealthy Worthy Wednesday, we are going to pass it to our legacy host, Miss Stephanie. And for those of you who are still considering the Wealthy and Worthy event, we are still hosting that event in 2026. We are just waiting for the venue because we had to reschedule it. We're waiting for the venue to confirm with us when the dates can be with wedding seasons and all the things happening. So as soon as we have those details, we'll update our website, wealthyworthy.org, and then we'll for sure share that out with you all on socials and in our weekly lives. So I'm going to pass it off to you, Stephanie, to engage us in some good conversations today around ease.
All right. I'm so happy to be back. I have missed you ladies, and I'm excited about today's conversation because I am always saying I just want peace and ease. I always say that. So
Okay.
jump right in. I got to know, Tiana, when you talk about ease, right? What does that mean to you? And how does that differ from like time management?
Okay. So, can you ask the question again?
When you talk about ease, what does that mean for you specifically? And how can we differentiate that from, say, time management? Or do they coincide together?
Okay, that's a good question. I will say that I do see them different. I see time management as a function within ease, right? So when I am talking about ease or embodying ease or wanting to connect with ease, what shows up for me or what comes up for me first, right, is scripture. The yoke is easy and the burden is light. Right? So that is where I even get the whole concept from, right? And so it's like it's not to say that the things that I am pursuing in my life are always easy, right? But the ease comes because I actually have peace. So it's like I don't expect for things to always be easy, but I do expect peace. Right. And so in that's when I know that I'm in ease because it's like, oh, like, even we were just talking about this before we went live, right? Like I was planning to be off work for a specific amount of time. I ended up being out of work double that time, right? And if I were like focused on time management, right, I would have a level of like angst about it. And I would be like anxious and feeling like I need to get to this thing, or I would feel some sort of guilt about taking time off work, right? Which I know a lot of you do feel. And especially a lot of my clients who are entrepreneurs, right? Where it's like you are the end all be all in your business. And so if you take time away, nothing works, nothing happens, right? So I think for me, it's like ease is like a function of my life. It's a rhythm of my life. And then time management is a function within that.
Mm.
That's good.
I took so many notes from that. You said ease comes when I have peace. And
Right.
you're absolutely right. So for you, Talona, you're always helping women create peaceful spaces at home. How does your environment set the tone for ease in your week?
How does it set the tone for ease in my week? So for me personally, I have a specific way that I set up my days. And I know before I had things set up, my mind was always like all over the place, right? And so for me, your environment reflects your emotional climate. Right. So when my surroundings are calm, organized, and intentional, I feel like my mind follows suit. Well, I don't feel like, I know it follows suit because I'm way more at ease and relaxed when I have my system set in place. So for some person, you know how we ladies always like maybe put off laundry until the next day. Right. And you have this laundry basket sitting over in the corner. And then you're like, I'll get to it tomorrow. And tomorrow comes and you wake up and the first thing you see is this laundry basket over in the corner. You wake up already on edge, right? And so when we are intentional about creating like environments that we want to wake up to. So like for me, I have what I call like my prayer corner. I used to have a closet, now it's a corner, right? So I have this prayer corner, and that is my meeting place with God every morning. Right. And so for me, I know exactly what I'm doing. As soon as I wake up, brush my teeth, and get presentable, I'm going right to that space because that's my space of peace and calm, and it sets my day. Right. So I always say design is not just for pretty, it's for peace. And so you have to figure out for yourself what that looks like for you, as far as what are some of the things that you could preset, not set in the moment, but preset that prepares you. I started to think about, I've been hosting family. Like when I tell y'all I'm exhausted, I have been the host of the year. Okay. So I have been hosting family and friends probably 3 months straight every weekend. And it gets pretty exhausting, but what makes it less exhausting is the system I set up for my guest, right? So like, for example, when my mom and my aunt come, they drink coffee. We don't drink coffee in my house, but guess what I have? A coffee pot, a Keurig machine, all of the things set up for them because I know that's what they're going to need, want, and what's going to make them feel comfortable, right? So the question is, why do we not do the same for ourselves? What is your coffee station?
Wow.
What does that look like for you?
Come on.
So I think once we start thinking in that realm, because we're always showing up for other people, but what does that look like for us? Ask ourselves the same question we ask for others that we're entertaining or serving or whatnot. Ask that of ourselves and see what you can set up for yourself that makes your life much easier at home.
Oh my gosh, that was so good. That was good. I have to bring this back to you because like you just dropped so many bars. You said design is just not pretty, but it's peace. And you said, what is your coffee station? How can we create systems for ourselves that we also implement for other people? That is so powerful. And I think oftentimes as women, we just put ourselves on the back burner and we just make sure that everybody else is okay. But I also know that that's not always the healthiest thing to do. So Tiana, for you, I'm curious to know, how can a woman tell when she's designing her week around pressure versus purpose?
You won't have peace. Right? Like, and it seems so simple, right? To just say it, right? But I will tell you, that it does take work to even be in a place where you can have the level of self-awareness to recognize when you're not in peace.
Mm.
And I'll give you an example. So I was actually thinking about this morning, and it was for this conversation because I thought that was such a random thought. But what came up for me this morning was my son had a really rough night last night. And so um and so he was up at 5 a.m. We were up at 5 a.m. And once we got him settled, he went back to sleep. He got up around 9:30ish. And so, which is really late, right, for us. And so I was like, okay, my value is we take it easy in the mornings, right? We have routine, but we still take it easy. We're not rushing out. Today was one of those days where that value was challenged because today was picture day and he was supposed to be at school at 8 a.m.
Oh, man.
Okay. So listen, I literally like said to my husband, listen, we will just have to miss picture day. It is what it is. I'm not going to force him to get up, and he's cranky and he's having a hard time and the pictures are terrible anyway. Right? Like, like we're gonna let him sleep in. We're gonna do the things we always do. He's gonna go to school, have the best day. And I said to my husband before he left, I said, just maybe they may still let him sneak in and get a photo, right? So I was like, we're just gonna hope, right? But after they left the house, I just had some quiet time before my first meeting. And I was like thinking like, wow, like it's so calm, right? It's so quiet. Like I felt really calm. And I literally thought, I remember there was a time, I remember when I first met my husband, and I remember saying to him, I said, I don't know, like, I said, I wouldn't say that I have anxiety. I said, but I feel like I've always operated with this low level of anxiety, almost like background noise, right? Just almost like this humming of like urgency, though. Like, like there's something that I have to get done. There's like I haven't maybe done enough, or there's still things on my list that need to happen, and I'm just not, I'm like trying to keep up and I'm just not quite there. So it always felt like I had this like low level of like anxiety, really. I just thought, right, that was just a function of how I was structured, right? But we've been together 10 years now, right? Decade later, right? All of the self-work that has happened, all of the unearthing of childhood traumas and all the things, right? I now realize, oh, that actually is not my default at all.
Right.
But I didn't know that for a long time, right? Like I just thought this is just something that I have to manage, right? Because I assumed that it was a part of me. Right? But it took work, it took community for me to reflect these things to other people and them to mirror it back to me, and for me to be like, wait, that's actually not, that's actually not baseline. And also going back to, what does God say about that?
Yeah.
That's not part of my identity. That is actually not anything attached to me. And so now it's like I operate in this level of like, oh, now that I have this level of awareness, I'm like, oh, if I do feel that creeping back in, then I'm like, oh shoot, I'm out of, I'm out of rhythm with
Right.
where I actually should be to experience that level of like peace and ease and flow. And again, not that everything is perfect, you know what I mean? Like it definitely was a disruption in the day, but it was just kind of like, it is what it is. Like I'm not frazzled once I get him out the door.
Right.
Like I didn't feel like, oh my God, we were so late and we had to rally and rush and do all the things. Like, no, they left and I was here by myself, like, okay, well, let me get ready for my meeting, like. And so I think that is what pushes me so hard in this work, particularly for Legacy League, because I work with women every day that I just want them to know that that is available. It's available, and it's available now. Like, you know what I mean? Like there are things that we could do to pivot you, to reposition you, to get you to that place of ease and peace. and flow. Because yeah, it's just too much. If you're operating outside of that, it's too much.
It's too much. Agreed.
Yeah, same. And you know what? That is so good because I know I have within the last week or so, I have leaned more into I am not gonna rush. And kind of like you, Tiana, like trying to get out the house in the morning, every morning. At one point was a task. And I was like, we gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go, gotta be at school on time. And so now I just say to my daughter, I mean, I'm not encouraging her to be a late person per se, but I'm like, I'm not gonna rush. So if you want to stay upstairs all day getting dressed, go ahead, take your time and you'll get to school because school's not going anywhere. But I am not going to raise my heart rate, worry about you being late for school. I'm just not, because then I'm gonna get in the car, I'm gonna drive faster. I'm probably gonna forget my wallet and not have my license because then I am so anxious and I'm so rushed that I'm not even taking care of the things that I need to take care of to ensure that we get there safely. And so I too, I've leaned, you know what? It's fine. And now that you actually name it, I do feel much more peaceful in the morning now that I'm not rushing her.
Let's go. Yeah.
And you know what? And now she gets ready faster without me having to actually rush her because she knows I don't care if we're late. Like, you're going to get to school, but I'm not going to rush for us to get there. So thank you.
I love that.
For naming it because I hadn't thought about it. Wow.
I'm so glad. What would you say? What would you say was your aha to even try it?
I just got tired of leaving stuff behind whenever I would rush. Like, leave home, I'm rushing, right? And then I get in the car and she's like, oh, Mom, I need a snack for school. And then I look down and I don't have my wallet. And I'm like, I'm rushing and I forgot my wallet. So Lord, if I get pulled over, I'm not going to have a license. I'm going to get a ticket for driving without I'm thinking about all these things. And I'm just like, I am creating a bad environment or bad situation to happen just because I'm rushing to get you to school every day. Like, this is really not worth it. The school is not going anywhere. And at a minimum for us, right? Her very first class is homeroom, which is not educational. They're just going to sit there until it's time for first period. And so I'm like, okay, let me just slow it down. Like, I don't have to start my day on 10. And that's what I would do when I'm rushing. Like, literally, I would roll out of the bed instantly, go, 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 go. Not 1 minute taken for myself. I'm just going. And I don't know. I just had that aha moment. Like, why am I doing this? Like, this is not helping me. And it's also, I struggle with migraines. A lot of people know that. It didn't help my migraines either, right? So I'm getting up and I'm creating stress for myself by moving so fast without even breathing, you know? Yeah.
What would you ladies say to the women who are listening to that and they're like cringing? They're like, no, we can't be late, right? And so let's just say the first class was like an educational class.
Right.
Like, what would you advise them to do as far as making sure that they are on time, but not rushing and causing anxiety to themselves or their family because of it, right? So what would you recommend they do that will help with the ease if they have to be at a certain point on time? So maybe certain place on time. So maybe that's work. Maybe it is the kid has to be there at a certain time so they don't miss a test or whatever that looks like. What would you advise them?
They probably should just wake up earlier. Go to sleep. Go to sleep early and wake up early. I mean, that is the most realistic thing. But like for me, I love my sleep, and so I'm going to soak in every last minute that I can. But if you just cannot afford to do that, then the reality is you probably just need to wake up earlier, just so you do have that time to yourself. And then if you know your kid is like mine and they move really slow for absolutely no reason in the morning, then maybe you also need to make sure that they're up extra early. So then they have that built-in time to waste. So then you're not rushing.
Right.
Yeah.
Love that.
That's good.
Yeah. So, okay. So speaking of that, so like, that's a really good question. What's one common pattern you see in women who are constantly overextending themselves, especially when it comes to home and family?
Well, I know all women will probably agree with this. Okay. I won't say all. I'll say like 99.7%. I see women taking care of everyone else while their own, needs get buried under the to-do list. Right. And so the homes become a reflection of that. So it's overfilled, overwhelming, overstimulated, uncentered, and all those things because we're so busy. Like me, if I don't have a schedule or some type of something in front of me showing like what I'm doing today, my mind, I have a creative's mind. So my mind be like, here, oh, we could do this. Oh, we could do that. Oh, we can see this. Oh, we could go here. Oh, we could, I have to have it more structured. And
Yep.
it's not that women don't want peace. It's that we forget that we're allowed to design it for ourselves.
Mm. Wow.
Right. So when you start assigning value to your rest just as much as you assign value to your responsibilities, that's when things start to shift. Right. So yes, we focus on our responsibilities, but I would go to say probably over 90% of people listening to this right now today put more emphasis on their responsibility than they do on the things that truly matter in their life, the things that they desire most, and rest. Right. But what if we had a balance where we equally valued both? Just think of how much more at ease our lives would be. And that spills over to every aspect of your life, your home, your job, your business, your personal relationships, wherever it is you go and enter, like it would reflect in all spaces because you yourself are centered. Right. And so I would say overextending ourselves to everyone else would be one of the things that I feel like is a common pattern for women, because we are nurturers, right? And so we want to be there for our families, our friends, and everything. But sometimes we do too much, and we actually take some of the responsibility that should be on our kids, should be on our husbands, should be on our families and our friends or whatever. And we like to hoard it all for ourselves. I don't know why we do that, but we do, right? And so if we give everybody's little piece of what they're supposed to do, give it back to its rightful owner, and just take what we're responsible for, I think our lives will be much easier just overall. Yeah.
So give people what belongs to them and you hold on to what belongs to you.
Honey, because my baggage is heavy enough. Yes.
That is a great tip. Okay, so we'll say that is a tip for like how we protect our peace, right? If you really want to protect your peace and remain productive, you want to ensure that you don't overextend yourself. But then also, like you said, you want to make sure that you're holding people in your life responsible for what they should be doing. So, Tiana, for you, what is one piece of advice that you give to women who are looking to protect their peace in the midst of so much around them?
Oh, mine is super simple. It is the cup is for you, the saucer is for them.
Oh, wow.
Right. And the reason why that's super important, right, is because I think, I've encountered lots of people who subscribe to the like, you can't pour from an empty cup or a half empty cup or whatever the saying is. But my paradigm is you never pour from your cup.
Wow.
Right? Never. Why? Because filling the cup is the only job that you can do.
Wow.
Right? Nobody else can do that job for you. You can't outsource that. It has to come from you. And so your only job is to keep the cup full. Right? And so as you continue to pour, naturally, those who are close enough in proximity to you will be blessed by the overflow. Right? That's your only job. Keep the cup full.
I love that.
Right? Yeah.
At the end, you can attach that to everything, monetarily, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Like I know a lot of women I've heard that I've mentored, they are frustrated because the people around them aren't pouring in, right? And they're like, I feel so empty. And it's like, is that really everybody's responsibility to fill your cup? Or is it your responsibility to figure out ways to fill your cup? And then, like you said, the overflow goes to everyone else. I think our mistake as women as we empty out whatever we put in our cup. And so there's not enough for us, and there's definitely not enough overflow for anyone else.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like we starve ourselves.
Yeah. We're pouring the cup out. Then we flip the cup upside down and we set something on top of the cup because we want to be efficient. Like, it just gets to be way too much. Like,
right.
It's just way too much. And
that's my first time hearing that analogy, T. That's pretty. I like that. That's pretty interesting.
Thank you.
To fill your cup first, and then overflows, everyone else partakes in.
But Tiana, let me ask you this: How do you encourage a woman who may push back on that and says, "Well, if I stop pouring, everyone around me is going to be empty"?
It is what it is. Okay, so here's the thing, right?
No, that's real though.
Okay, that was my girlfriend to girlfriend answer, right? But
it sounds mean, but it's very pleasant.
If you're right, but from coaching perspective, let me put on my coach hat, right? I will say, right? I hear that, and I do think that those are honest and I'm sure earnest concerns that women have. I've had them as well. But what I have learned is this: when I stop pouring into people, scenarios, situations that are not reciprocal, those things naturally fall away. So the people who are closest to me after years of pruning, right? Pruning my relationships, which I think everybody should. We should all be. I think I actually read a study recently that said you change your like core friend group like every 7 to 8 years.
Oh, wow.
And they were saying, it was written by like the psychologist, and she was saying, like as human beings, we are supposed to be growing. We are supposed to be intentionally evolving. And as we do that, our relationships will naturally change, right? And sometimes the people who may be closest to us in a certain season, they may shift, that they may rotate out, and you may have, but she was saying most people's lives, it kind of narrows down. So as they grow and evolve, that close group of people gets smaller and smaller and smaller, right? And so if you think about it in that way, it's like the people who you then have closest to you as you continue to do your own work and pour into your own cup, they won't be offended that you're not pouring into their cup, right? They won't, because it will naturally be this mutually beneficial encounter, because everybody's pouring in their own cup, and so everybody's benefiting from the overflow of all the cups. Right? So you're creating this new ecosystem that is reciprocal in nature, that is valuing self-preservation, because we love others best when we love ourselves most. That is just how it works.
Period.
Right? And so when we think that we're the end all be all for people, and they're going to die if I don't do this, and their life is going to be messed up if I don't show up, like, you're not their savior.
You're not. And they will figure it out just like we do.
Yeah. And if you don't do it, they will find somebody else to do it.
Absolutely. Bottom line. Absolutely.
Yes.
They will.
I think as mom, we feel that guilt, like, even for our children, right? So like all my kids are older, like, well, I have 2 grown kids, and then I have a son that's still at home. But even with them, we tend to pick up something that they should be doing themselves, right? And I think for women, a lot of us feel guilty behind not being the one to do it for them. So, and a lot of people will say, well, I'm a mom first, or I am, this. And it's like, well, no, you're raising like human beings that's going to go out in this world. And so they need to know how to do things for themselves. I think we fight with the shift of parenting or being a mother, where we like to stay in the disciplinary kind of teaching mode all the time. And we think that's motherhood, where motherhood actually should shift. So just like you said, shifting your friend groups, our purpose and our duty as a mom shifts as the kids get older. So we're no longer like the disciplinary and the one who's just showing you how to do everything, and you don't have a say, to more of like an advisory role or a guide, in life. So right now, that's what I am for my older children. Like, I advise them. If they call and ask for advice, I give it to them. It's not more so like, you're going to get in trouble because you didn't do this right. They're going to be like, okay, whatever. Right. But I think it's so important that we actually take inventory of, like you said, the relationships, but also what our role is as a mom, as a wife, as a friend, as a sister, cousin, whatever that relationship is. Like, what does that look like today? Because it shifts. Like you said, like every 7 to 8 years, I feel like everything shifts, in life. And so, yeah, I agree with you, T, 100%.
Ladies, this conversation has been so good, but it's time for us to unfortunately wrap up. But before we wrap up today, I would love for both of you to just share one shift you believe that anyone watching can make to ensure that they are starting their week off with more ease.
Okay, I'll give you one of the shifts that I actually implemented. I think it was, oh my God, it's been a long time now. And I actually learned it from my husband, so it's maybe been 10 years now. Where you actually plan for your week the Friday before.
Oh, okay.
Right? So like before I log off for the week on a Friday, I'm on my calendar. I'm looking to see what's happening in the next week. Most Mondays I don't work. I'm usually off on Mondays. It's kind of just like my personal time. And sometimes I'll catch up on things on Mondays, but I'll look ahead and I'll see, like, number one, gauge how I'm feeling. Right? Because sometimes what happens is I'll look at the week and I'll be like, oh, I have 3 back-to-back coaching calls. That's too many. That's going to drain me. So maybe I'll, have my admin send an email to somebody and say, can you shift to a different time? Right. Like, or I may look at my schedule and think, oh, I actually have a ton of time. Maybe I should start adding a few more things on next week so that I can accomplish some specific goals, right? Like, thinking about what the next week is going to bring before, and then kind of planning yourself accordingly, moving things around as you need to, instead of waiting for Monday and then having that like Sunday blues where you're just anxious about what's happening in the week and getting slapped around. It gives you that sense of like intention. And it also allows you to go into the week feeling like you're in control of your time, and you're intentional about where you're using that time.
I like that.
And what about you, Talona?
So piggybacking off T, I actually started doing that years ago, where I prep by looking at my schedule. I typically do it Sundays, but I like Fridays because Sunday is like right before you have to hit the ground running, So I don't know. I might shift it to Fridays or Saturdays because that's kind of like the days where I'm more at ease. But I think, and what I'm learning too is when you're like a business owner, like schedule is a big deal, right? But what I'm learning is that's not the norm for everybody to have a schedule or to have a calendar. So I would say, piggybacking off T, rewinding just a little bit, that we should have a schedule, like a calendar, shall I say, that where you could put everything that's going on. Like me, my husband, my children, we all have Google calendars and they're all linked together. So we know, like when we're scheduling family events, I can look at my son's schedule and say, he's not going to be able to make that time, or I can call him and say, hey, you have some schedule at 5 p.m. on Saturday. can you switch it so we can all come together as a family and do this or that, you know? And so I think having a calendar, period, even if you don't have a business, even if you're a stay-at-home mom, is so freaking helpful, right? And so just being intentional about setting up those things where it takes the things out your head and puts it down to where you don't have to have it up here anymore. You
Yeah.
know, and it frees up space, needed space for
Yep.
you to do other things, you know, or
Yep.
to hold other things mentally up here. And so just kind of creating systems where you can get everything from up here onto paper or into some type of system where you don't have to carry every single thing. And so, like you said, T, then you're able to review it whenever you see fit, right? And you don't have to have your mind boggled down with all of these details. And so I would piggyback off her, say, if you don't have a system that she's discussed, setting up one, Google Calendar is one of the easiest calendars. You can use Google Calendar. Calendly is another, you know, so there's all types of software and systems out there where you can easily from your phone have your schedule in front of you so you're not overwhelmed trying to remember, what did I say I was going to do on Thursday? Oh my God, what did they say? What time did they say they wanted to do this? And make sure that whenever you're scheduling something, you schedule it right then and there so you can do it and forget it. You know, so I would say that would be a small shift that I would advise people make. If you don't have it already, please create one because it is a lifesaver.
I love that. I love that. I'm going to actually implement what you said to Dr. Tiana about planning for your week on Friday because I love
Yes.
that is such a gem. And yes, for me, my one tip would be it's okay to slow down. Period. That's it. Just it's okay to slow down. The world is not going to fall apart because you choose to slow down. But to everyone who's watching, we would love to continue the conversation. So please comment below and let us know how you're going to move into the following weeks with peace and ease. But until next time, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Hey guys.